How's everybody doing? It's about 8 p.m. on Sunday night. I'm still sick. I've been sick for a couple days. And I came back up to the cabin early this morning and I just slept and watched football and slept and watched football and slept and watched football all day today. Same thing I did yesterday. Um, but, like, even though I'm physically sick, you know, that hasn't slowed my brain down at all, which I was kind of hoping it would. And with I've been really struggling with something the last 3 or 4 days. You know, it's very easy, obviously, these days with this administration and with these news cycles that we experience on a daily basis. If you're a content creator, you can just wake up and, like, by the time you wake up, there's already 10 news stories that you can just make your normal content about. And you can just make videos being outraged by the latest series of things that this administration is doing. But it's like since the beginning of the year, Trump and the people around him have really ramped things up a lot. They've ramped things up a significant degree. And it just doesn't feel like I, I'm struggling to find the point of just continuing to record content that is just about the things that happen in the news cycle, the latest outrage. You know, there's plenty of people on this app that are doing that and that are doing it very well. They're doing that very well. And there's some benefit to that in keeping people informed. I mean, a lot of people get their news from social media these days. Um, but I'm just kind of feeling like, for me personally, it's like, what's the point? You know, this administration is going to do 15 horrible, illegal, unconstitutional, vile, grifty things every single day. And I'm just really struggling with what's the point of covering those things. None of them are going to be surprising. Every single one of them is going to be shocking and horrifying. And the next day it's going to be the same thing. It's just going to be the same thing. Day after day after day after day, even on weekends. Um, and I've been watching a lot of videos from black creators on this app, a lot of videos from black women who are creators on this app. And I saw a video today. I should have bookmarked it or saved it. And, one of the things that group of creators has been stressing a lot lately in the context of effective political resistance and, like, actual protesting, as opposed to just showing up somewhere for 2 hours and walking around with a bunch of white people holding signs and then you go get brunch and go back to your normal life. Risking things. And I've talked about this quite a bit over the last couple of weeks. Risking things. What are we as middle class, upper middle class white people in the United States individually, what are we actually going to be willing to risk? What are we going to be willing to put on the line? What consequences are we going to be actually willing to face in stopping this administration? And I've been struggling a lot with that one. But this one woman that I saw, a black woman on this app, she was talking a lot about community and forming community and making a commitment to community and the necessity of community in these kinds of times and what that word community means. And it's like, I saw that this morning early before I left to come back up here to the cabin, and it just stuck with me the whole time I was driving and for the rest of the day. And I was just like, I don't know that I've ever done that. I don't know that I've ever been a part of community in that kind of a sense. I generally don't like being around other people in person. And so I was thinking, I was just like, I mean, are there any examples in my life of when I've actually done that? And the closest that I came, as far as an answer, like the closest thing that I came up with was being in bands. Because it's like, that involves commitment. And it's like, you got to show up for band practice, even if you don't want to, because there are other people who are depending on you. And, you have a role to play in that thing. And if, and it's like me being a drummer, if I don't show up, practice gets canceled. If the bass player doesn't show up, well, one of the guys can fill in on that. If the keyboard player doesn't show up, one of the guys can fill in on that. If a guitar player doesn't show up, somebody else can fill in on that. Nobody can fill in for the drummer. And so and all of those experiences have been amazing and they've been great, but it's like, I just felt a bit lacking, or a bit pathetic in the sense that it's like, that's the closest thing I was able to come up with as far as community in my life. I mean, it doesn't seem like it on this app, with the content that I make, but I very, very much prefer being alone. It's like friends of mine have been concerned about me being up here at the cabin so much by myself. And I'm like, there has not been 1 second that I've been up here that I've felt lonely. It doesn't happen. But yeah, I just, and it's like, and now everybody on the left is tearing each other to pieces between liberals and leftists and progressives. The same thing that we're always doing. The same thing that we always do on the left. We just rip each other to fucking pieces. And it's 90% of the people who are doing that are white people. And it's like, how the fuck is that going to turn into a community right now? How is that going to turn into a fucking community? The left can't even, the white left can't even unite long enough to defeat fascism, authoritarianism, and actual Nazis. Because we are all white people on the left fucking drowning in privilege.